The Kansas State House has passed something known as HB 2453. It's legislation that would allow for the discrimination of gay people in their state, as long as the discriminator is the person who is religious, right? As long as they have sincere religious beliefs. Now, let me give you the details of this House bill. Both private businesses and government officials are permitted to deny services, accommodations, advantages, facilities, goods, or privileges, along with counseling, adoption, foster care, and other social services, and employment or employment benefits in any way related to the celebration of and marriage, domestic partnership, civil union, or similar arrangement. It explicitly protects discrimination provided that it stems from the sincerely held religious beliefs of the individual or religious entity regarding sex or gender. So this is something that Cenk spoke about earlier in the week, but what we want to focus on in this video is the fact that gender is also specified there, which means that it could actually impact women as well. Because as you know, there are certain religions that believe in holding women down, don't believe in equality between men and women. So as a result, if a business doesn't believe that a woman should be working, or a woman shouldn't have children out of wedlock, or a woman shouldn't have premarital sex, whatever it is, they can decide to discriminate against her for whatever reason, as long as they trace it back to their religion.
So Idaho is working on a bill that would do it discrimination against gays, but it would only apply to private companies, right? Mm-hmm. In Kansas, it's far worse. It's private companies and the government, and they could deny you service if they're government workers, cops even, mm-hmm. hospital workers, etc., if they have religious problems with you being gay. Now, Tennessee, in some ways, has taken it a step further by including gender in it. And I know that there's no war on women, so I know that they'll mainly apply this against guys, right? They'll be looking for guys who had kids out of wedlock, and then they will discriminate against them.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I think that there's a possibility that it just says gender there because they're dumb. Like that's a possibility.
No way.
Well, they're definitely dumb.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. But hey, it's not an accident. That's not a little thing to put gender in there. That's a giant thing. Yeah. And they will almost certainly use it against women, whether it's denying them contraception, and that's probably one of the main reasons that they put this in there.
Maybe single mothers too. Also.
Yeah, of course.
Can we put up Anna's first graphic there again, if you don't mind? Because the list of what they can deny is,
counseling, adoption, foster care.
No, the one, yeah, okay, there it is. Yeah, sorry. So accommodations, we got that right. You can't stay in the hotel. Advantages, whatever, that can mean anything.
What does that mean?
Facilities, goods, or privileges. Like, really, it's to the point of
everything.
You can't use our bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, that's not all they mean by facilities.
No, they could have just said nouns and verbs.
Right, that's right.
We will deny you all nouns and verbs.
So they're just saying here that gay people, you can't pee. You hold it because of what my misinterpretation of what my religious text is.
It's worse than separate but equal.
It's worse than separate but equal.
It really is.
In Kansas, since it applies to the government workers as well, they can literally kick you out of a public pool if you're gay.
I'm so sick of using religion as an excuse to push whatever agenda it is that you have, right? You want to do something that actually is immoral, you turn back to your religion and say, what? My religion says I can do this, even though you have absolutely no idea what the Bible says or whatever religious doctrine you're reading says. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, to go out of your way. Jake, I remember earlier this week we did the story on the photographers, I forget which state it was, New Mexico. These photographers in New Mexico didn't want to take wedding pictures of a same-sex couple. And we felt like, I don't know, we're kind of torn on this issue. But now I've actually completely changed my mind. Because you give them an inch and they'll take a mile, right? It's not about, some private businesses really believing in their religion and they feel like they can't practice their religion because the state is forcing them to provide services for something they disagree with. No, they just want to hate people. And they want to turn back to their religion and say, you know what, this is what's going to warrant my bad behavior. Screw that. I'm not buying it.
But a wedding photographer might be exempt from the Civil Rights Act because I don't know whether you could make a case that how much interstate commerce is involved in that. But all that other stuff, like, accommodations, we dealt with this.
Yeah, there are federal laws that are protecting this. Like, you can't trump that with the state. And I don't know, I think it's kind of ludicrous that so many religious people don't have, so many people who are good moral Christians have absolutely no problem with gays and lesbians using state services and going into private businesses. And so does this mean that you people who are backing this law in Kansas or the law in Tennessee are somehow more Christian than everybody else? Are you somehow more moral? No, you're a fucking bigot. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. How can, from the outside, everybody sees this? How can they not see this?
So let me add two things to that. Number one, of course, they mean just just Christians, and their kind of Christians, fundamentalist Christians, get to use this law. Because, for example, if Muslims used it and they said, hey, oh, you put gender in there. Oh, thank God. All right. Hey, you that didn't cover up your wife. I think your wife needs to be covered up. Get the fuck out of my place.
I would
okay?
love to see that story break.
Right. And or I'm a government worker. You know what? In Kansas, well, now in Kansas you can't do it based on gender, to be fair, but in Tennessee, you know what? I don't want to treat your wife because she's not covered up. She's an immoral whore. That's my deeply held religious beliefs. What do you mean? What do you mean, right? All right, put Muslims aside.
But real quick though, because I don't know, what I mean is, this is the thing my dad has. My dad doesn't use the word gender. He thinks it's crazy because people mean sex. I don't even think they know the difference of the word.
Yeah, that's why they just say all of the
They just say, they're like, Grant, like, do I think that these guys would love to prevent women from getting contraception or deny black single mothers from coming in? I notice you don't have a wedding ring and you seem to have 2 kids. You can't eat. Of course, it would be great. They would love that. That's so Christian. That's what the Bible said. Just throw the single mothers out.
And also put down newspaper underneath us when we're
right, but they don't know the difference between sex and gender. I don't know the difference between sex and gender.
All right, one more thing here. If you're a real Christian, right, the most important thing, according to Jesus Christ, not according to me, is to treat the poor and the needy as best as you can. And in fact, it says in the Bible over and over again that if you're rich, you are not going to heaven, you are going to hell, okay? That God has reserved the deepest, most fiery places in hell for you, the rich. I didn't say that, I don't believe that. I think that's crazy talk. But that's what Jesus Christ believed. Read the frickin' Bible, okay? And so, for example, there's a story of Lazarus at the gates of a rich man's house. And he's got wounds all over him, and he's dying for little scraps of food from the rich man's table, and the rich man won't give him anything, and he just eats everything up. And then in the afterlife, Lazarus is up in heaven forever, right? And the rich man is like saying, please, please, why are you doing this to me? And God doesn't even say it's not because you didn't help Lazarus. It's because you were rich, okay? So what if we started applying that deeply held religious belief in Tennessee and said, if you're rich, well, we're not going to serve you, we're going to throw you out of our places, and we're going to discriminate against all rich people. Do you have any idea how quickly they would overturn this bill? It would take approximately 13 seconds for their deeply held religious beliefs to be thrown in the garbage can.
Again,
because
they use their religion, they twist it to meet their agenda. That's what it's about.
Really, it's not religion here. Yeah. Religion is not the root of all evil, like a lot of my, militant atheist friends might say. I'm a very staunch atheist. Everybody who watches TYT knows this. They're using religion to push an agenda that's so deep, that's so disconnected from the Bible. It's hatred and it's fear of the unknown. It's fear of whoever's not like me, and plain and simple, it's an age-old tactic.
Yeah, and it's no different. I mean, Jenks, that point's the best one. If they're really interested in defending your religious rights, unless those religious rights are Islamic, in which case, then all bets are off. Yeah.